Becoming a magician takes thousands of hours. Right, Ashley?
Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm a design specialist at the Container Store.
But you transform closets and pantries.
Well, I turn your most frustrating spaces into ones you love.
With a magic wand?
With Alpha, our customizable, adjustable, and affordable shelving and drawer system.
The amazing Ashley! Making daily frustration disappear.
Just doing my job.
Transform your space with Alpha and save 20% on purchases over $500. Get started with your free design at the Container Store today.
You're listening to the good,
Don't Call Me Payno,
the bad,
Absolute
and the rugby.
folded like a deck chair.
With Payno, Lord, and the Hask. I don't know what that means.
Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome to another edition, a Christmas edition of The Good, the Bad and the Yuletide Rugby in partnership with City Index, the leading provider of spread betting, CFD and FX trading. Happy Christmas,
It's
City
good,
Index.
isn't it, to be on our Christmas show? Because you know what it is? In that episode of Friends where they're going out with... they nickname him Gandalf because they never know where they're going to wake up the next day because it's their day out and he's got a pair of socks.
It's a bit like you.
So maybe I wish I was Gandalf.
Yeah.
But I always feel like that with our Christmas shows because there's no idea where this could go.
Will we get cancelled? Will we get cancelled? Will we get cancelled?
What did you get for Christmas, James?
Well, we
I
have
got
any
a
sponsors.
P45 and an application at the job centre.
I did.
The problem is we're taking someone else down with us today.
Let's take him down.
How? Why? I mean, we are delighted you are here. We should just say, welcome everybody. We've got two bauble-looking versions of the Mitchell brothers. I mean, I don't quite know how you've managed to get dressed as you have, but it's quite a sight to behold if you're watching this on YouTube.
I look sexy as fuck.
We'll give a quick shout out to Oppo Suits again, but Jelly, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
We wanted a refresh.
Thank you very much indeed for last year's suits.
Yeah, we're still rocking it.
I mean, actually, technically, I'm not endorsing you because you haven't given us anything new this year.
Do you think they'll
You
blame
get one
Suez and Brexit and supply chain problems for the fact that we're still wearing last year's things? Ben Kaiser is alongside as well. In blue.
I am in blue.
Fittingly, Le Bleu.
You guys are definitely a positive influence on me. I rocked up dressed normally. About 15 seconds later, I've got two gin and G&T's down my neck and I got a blue Christmas suit on.
It's how we go.
Give it an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
He turned up in his usual outfit, a beret, a black and white striped shirt, a bicycle and a baguette.
There's
Some onions around his neck. It's really weird. It's like...
I can already hear the editor going, I don't know how on earth I'm going to get anything out of this at all. Feliz Navidad, which is obviously not French.
I'm glad you said it.
But it does go in at number 3 in my all-time top Christmas songs. Alongside, what else would we go with?
Driving Home for Christmas, Chris Rea.
That's number 1. It has been still holding on to the number 1 spot for the 38th consecutive year.
Good.
Wow.
And E17 Stay.
Ooh,
Christmas song. It's
do
a bit like
it. It's like
Die Hard, a Christmas movie.
Well, yeah, it's like saying the Spice Girls 2 become 1.
I didn't know that.
Is it a Christmas song?
I don't know.
I need some love like I
never needed love before. Oh
Gonna
my God,
make
we
love
could do
to
this.
you, baby.
Louis Walsh, we are available.
I can just hear the sound of reversing beep, 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 as our sponsors back away one by one.
Well, hold on. It's Two Become One is not a Christmas song, is it?
I don't know. I have a feeling that it was out in the
I
time.
thought Driving
I
Home
haven't
for
heard
Christmas.
it. On Magic Christmas, when Ronan's entertaining me in the morning, I've definitely never
But
heard
isn't it this time of year that Michael Bublé comes out of hibernation
Literally.
for the rest of the year? He's in a small cave.
He just makes 19 million quid in December and spends it for the other.
I can't believe you guys even speak about Mariah Carey. All I Want for Christmas
but it's
Is
an
You.
easy one to go to. That
Yeah.
I do like Kylie Santa Baby because I always think she's singing to me. She's not.
She's definitely not.
Is she not, Mike? Is she not?
She's not. No.
What is the number 1 all-time French Christmas?
Oh, my
Frère
anthem.
Jacques.
No, I'd say it's Petit Papa Noël by Tino Rossi.
How does that go?
Petit Papa Noël, boom, boom, boom. And then it keeps on going, obviously.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
See, I think Vanessa Paradis missed out on a trick there without doing a Christmas song. Shouldn't a Taxi is great.
Shouldn't a Taxi?
She could have definitely done a French cover of a classic. And she'd have definitely
we were involved in that debacle last year, weren't we? Archie
Which
Curzon talked up as being... Well, which one? It's a very good question. He talked it up as being number one, and we went in. I think we climbed up to about 75th, and by the end of it, we were at 1,944th.
But I think we did.
Behind the St John Betts Primary School, sings Kumbaya.
I think, to be fair to him, though, didn't we? He gave $5,000 to restart.
He did.
I imagine out of his own pocket, because there's no way that a travesty of a song made any money.
He always says he has a good Q4, doesn't he?
Great Q4. But you know what? The interesting thing was you guys weren't aware of the first version that Archie sent me. So him and his mate, they've got a Pano equivalent on their show.
Hang on.
That's harsh.
There are many. There are loads out there. There are loads out there. Two a penny.
Pano equivalent is like blasphemy.
No, okay, fine. A poor man's Pano. I can't remember what his flipping name is now. He's going to hate me for it.
Freddie,
yeah, right. So it's Freddie. Freddie is so in the middle of Archie's utter bollocks. Freddie will go, so Hask, tell me about one of the greatest moments in England shirt. Like, sorry, we were just talking about getting smashed up
More
with a
lash.
net. Yeah, more lash. Why are you asking? It's just a great question. Anyway, do you think the scrum laws need to be changed? It's like, Freddie, fucking shut your mouth. Stop freaking me out with your serious questions. And so
I know how you feel, Freddie.
I was just going to say, you're asking about serious questions. Alex asked me, have you watched any rugby in the last weekend? And so far, it's been G&T and Christmas.
We're
and
contractually obliged to put 15 seconds of rugby in it, and we ain't getting it from these two baubles.
But on this thing, the original song was Freddie modelled himself as some sort of crooner with a guitar. Basically, you had to confiscate your belts and shoelaces because it was some depressing Christmas awful. Like, honestly, when he started singing, they played it to me like it was like a cloud went over my soul. I had a real dark moment, and then it would crescendo into more lash, and then back into this morose, awful kind of diatribe. And I said to him, lads, that's not a Christmas song. It's some bloke who thinks he's like who's that Pratt from Harrow? So you're one of your mates who sings about
what has happened to you in the last 10 days?
Well, who's the bloke who sings You're beautiful? What's his name?
James Blunt.
James Blunt. So it's like James Blunt.
Pratt from Harrow, that mate of yours.
So James Blunt.
Calm down.
I feel it's quite stereotypical.
Yeah, fine. James Blunt singing like
someone's
you're
not been drinking for a while.
You're beautiful, right? Him, and then basically a yobbo,
How
a
does he
football
know?
song.
Oh,
How does he know what we're drinking?
Not now.
Who's
Put your
this?
phone away.
No, get away, the gin detective. No, and so it was awful. It was awful. And basically, they then remodeled it and then put it together with that horrific song we now know.
I once took my wife to watch James Blunt at I don't know what it was one of the O2 Academies, I think in Brixton, and there were a lot of very happy wives and a lot of sort of boyfriends and husbands who weren't really showing their faces. And I got on the tube after the gig and I bumped into Alex King. And he and I sort of looked at each other, and it was a look that was like, neither of us were here. Like, this goes no further. I won't tell if you went.
But
so
somebody's
King,
buying that music, though, because he does bloody well. I saw him in Ibiza.
He's a good guy,
with
actually,
3 models of the fittest
Mate,
models in the world. He
kills
was
it.
having a great night, let's put it that way. And I was like, wow, you are...
Well, if you write love songs,
He's-
that's where you're going to end up.
And then you started DJing.
He is a good lad.
I did start DJing. Can't DJ. You're beautiful.
He's very funny on social media as well.
That's when you made it, when you can blend that with something.
Yeah, but I tried to be James Blunt on social media.
Is there a BJ what?
I tried to be James Blunt on social media and do the funny rebuttals. I ended up just losing sponsors because apparently...
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
you
was a
don't
bit
know
more-
quite how you don't know how quite strong you are.
Get fucked and drown yourself.
Last
Not
time-
quite-
He's a little funnier than that.
Yes,
There's a
that's what I
nuance
mean,
to
there
his
was,
humour.
yeah.
Last time I saw James Blunt was about 2 months ago at a private little...
Oh,
and
God.
he
It was
classic.
Captain
Was.
Topper. All
and
right.
he was,
You did the Tenerife? No, was that 11 Reef?
He was,
I tried the
he, was,
14 Reef.
he was playing on like a balcony type thing,
Yeah.
and a guy wanted to climb up and be on stage. He sort of helped him up, but didn't quite help him enough. It was about a 10-foot thing. The guy just tumbled backwards and landed on his head. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to leave this party because I'm not entirely sure where it's going.
Oh.
The guy was fine because he was
Always
that.
lowering the tone.
We've
We've all got Johnny James Blunt stories, and you can watch someone die at his concert.
But he was that smashed. The guy just bounced up and was like, you know, where you think, oh my God, he's dead. And then you just go,
That's almost the same level of story as the sick bucket one and the opening a corporate gig with the C-bomb. Do you remember that? Alex Payne, James Haskell, Mike C. Right. Wow.
A whole load of people spluttering into their little
don't even
white wine
remember that.
spritzers. No, I know. It was a 6 o'clock start as well. I don't know what you've been doing for lunch. How is Christmas in the Caser house?
This is not going to go well.
It's not.
This was a very poor decision making.
If at any point you just want to quietly
Yeah,
take
I was
off your
gonna
cans and say, I work for Amazon, ITV, BT Sport, and these are contracts I value and would like to continue with.
Actually, Alex used to work for them too.
Exactly.
Please take me with you. Is your tree up? Have you done your shopping? Where are you at with Christmas?
Well, my shopping is shocking.
Right.
The tree is up, is all done and dusted. I'll be totally honest. I'm sure you're going to ask me the difference between France and England sort of Christmas. For one, we don't dress like this.
Do you not?
Definitely not.
You're
No.
missing out.
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
drink as much either, you were saying before we started recording.
It's true. Probably not as early. We do tend to celebrate nicely on the 24th in the evenings or Christmas Eve, which is a bigger thing, at least in my family. I'm sure there's some French people who also do it on Christmas Day, but it's very much, it's the same thing, except we might have just a tiny bit more measure to what we do. So there's a little less food for the absolute whole day.
So what
and
you're
there's
saying
a
is
little
you're
less drinking
amateurs.
before.
What you're saying
Exactly.
is you're beginners.
We're second division.
Yeah, I thought you were, yeah.
It's tough
But
going.
if you don't enjoy the lead up, it literally goes like that,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then one day you wake up on the 27th, it's like, what? Christmas is gone.
Wake up, you're bloated and loathing yourself. Whereas you have a month of waking up loathing
It's
yourself every
day
day.
4 of cold Brussels sprouts when the purgatory, you've really entered a sort of a different
Yeah.
dimension. Are you a happy camper this Christmas?
Am I a happy camper this Christmas?
Yeah.
When
You
you ever
ready?
know me not to be a happy camper. Well, I mean, we have these
15
moments of sort of not
Don't open the
missing
can.
levity.
Don't open the can. Don't open the can right
There's
now.
another legal letter through the door. What's this? Oh, thank you so much. You
Pop
want
it
to
up the
sue me?
chimney with your
Excellent.
Christmas list.
Yeah, Santa's not coming to your house. We're going to my parents' house actually again this Christmas. We were going to see Chloe's parents, but they've just left the country. Right. Sorry, it's
What,
our
because you were
turn.
coming?
Yeah, it's our turn.
Sorry, I
We're
got
coming
a
over.
nice
Sorry,
fee
we're not
for
there.
2 days' work, so we're
Yeah.
disappearing. Goodbye.
So they've gone.
Have they
So-
gone to France?
No, I don't know where they've gone actually, but they're not anywhere near us. They moved house 3 times, never told us, but we find you.
You can run, but you can't hide.
So we got that,
That's
and then-
from the wedding crashes.
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
You can hide, but I'll find you.
Stage 5 clinger. I got stage 5 clinger and then married her. I'm joking. George
Chloe,
said to
we
me
love
today,
you.
she said, have fun tonight on the show. Say something nice about me. And I do you know what I've gone and done? Do you know what I've gone and done? I shit
Nailed.
all over it. Shit all over it. I love you.
The floor is yours,
I love you,
James.
Chloe. You're a special
Say something
lady.
really heartfelt.
Yeah, she's a very special lady. And without her, I'd be nothing.
That is
I
very
wouldn't
true.
be as funny, and I'd probably be in prison.
I did think the pictures she put up, you were looking a little bit fluffy at 127 kilos.
Yeah.
weren't you?
I was, yeah, a
What
little
were
bit.
you? Because you're just back from Dubai
I am,
last
yeah.
week. Tell me what you ate out there, other than the
Yeah, it was a punchy.
Burj Khalifa.
It was, yeah. It was a bit punchy over there. I'll be honest with you. Extensive breakfast buffets in my undoing.
But they are unbelievable breakfast
Yeah.
buffets in Dubai,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah. And the thing is, I always see breakfast always as a 3-course meal minimum. And then sometimes it can go into a 4 and 5 course because then you miss out pastries. Then you've got to have a coffee and maybe a donut, and then there's French toast. Then there's scrambled eggs. Then you get the halloumi, and you get the cheese samba sec on the side. Then you start going to off-piste and getting Asian noodles for breakfast because it's there. Then and I go to the Indian, then you have the dal and everything. It's just fucking listen, don't.
But
You know,
it's tricky for you at the moment because you're still limited training-wise.
Yeah, very limited.
very
yeah.
limited.
Yeah, limited in the fact that I just can't be asked.
So I got a message from a guy called Mike Mulroy, who is a referee, and he saw you walking up the stairs. He goes, "Fuck me, Haskell's struggling." Isn't he?
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, his
You
body
huffing and
is
puffing?
battered."
Can I
Mike
ju-
Mulroy, actually, interesting enough, is the guy that.
What's he called? I'm getting a lot of
Mike Mulroy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great.
Neither of
story
you
about
said
him.
it very clearly until that. What I was going,
Mike Mulroy.
Well, actually, Mike Mulroy, it's a great story. Whatever his fucking name is, if he's coming at me, I'm going to come at him. He was the one that they asked.
He has a referee's podcast, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Keeps asking me to go on. Doesn't get the message when I don't reply to him.
Yeah, he's the one that asked him in my first book, What a Flanker, asked Trevor Leota to be godparents, and Trevor just didn't turn up, and then managed to lull poor Lowell's mum, rest in peace, and then when Trevor's not here, do you want to be
Hells.
godmother?
Big Hells.
But yeah, and you want to be godmother, and what'd you say? And you're like.
To
yeah,
who?
Yeah,
To who?
stitched up, yeah, and that's it. So that's
Oh, no.
So the answer is never agree to anything because before you know it, you can be a member of their family,
Right.
or some horrific
Or someone who
responsibility.
could be responsible for
So
their children.
Yeah. So I might not walk, but I'm not responsible for your children, Mike. Chin up.
Captain Topper?
I'm not entirely sure where this has gone.
Neither am I. I was told to try and keep this to an hour. I think we've done 54 minutes of nonsense.
But this is why we
doing this
pay.
year?
This is why we pay. This is why we pay. This is why we
Powerful
pay.
stuff, this gin, isn't it? We've tried it once before and the
Jesus
vocabulary
Christ.
fell apart.
This is why we pay Shira the big bucks, even though I know that she's drinking as many gin and tonics as we are.
The breaking news is that I'm getting through on WhatsApp that Shira has just quit. So we're off to look for a new producer.
I'm all over it. We've got trees. We've got.
Are you doing a home job this year, or are you off to a castle?
Well,
or
the
two?
thing is, I haven't seen my family for
My
so
family
long.
and other royals, in the words of
Have
Gerald Durrell.
have you like faded your family out in
No,
light of the
no,
new
they're in this year,
modern
aren't they?
cool
No,
format?
I haven't at all. But they've been so locked down for 2 years. So I'm going to drive up and pick them up this week, and then they're coming down for 4 or 5 days, and then we'll pack them on the way.
Yeah, surely not
And then
let them in the castle. They wouldn't let them Northerners in the castle. All the silverware going
I
missing.
didn't get invited to the castle for 8 years, did I? So I'm going to have a little Tyndall family Christmas, and then we'll pop across and do the other one.
Nip across to the other one. Does a chariot arrive? And someone opens the door, rolls out a red carpet.
It's like Shrek. The land are far, far away. I'm like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. What's she called? Hello,
Innocent.
Andrea.
Hello, Andrea.
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 Welcome to you, Andrea. Happy Christmas as well. Turkey? We do this
Yeah,
every
but-
year. Because
Well, 'cause
you like
obviously-
I like a seven bird stuffing.
We talked to Eddie, and Eddie's obviously very Japanese based. And it's
He said he's
just
having
like,
a 10-minute Christmas
No,
this
it's
year.
literally 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's like, move on.
Happy Christmas.
I heard
his
something.
wife.
I didn't ask this of him when we did it last week, but apparently Kentucky Fried Chicken or something is massive at Christmas in Japan. So
Right.
they all just go in and have a chicken.
What?
James, I think it's fair to say you're leading the way
I just
as
thought,
you put in mince pie
oh,
goggles.
no, but mince
What's
pies,
you
this
doing?
Cockney slant me saying for eyes. And then while Tins,
Oh,
I was thinking,
I see
did
what
I-
you've done there.
they actually look like quite similar.
Actually, they tell more honest stories than your
Yeah,
eyes.
I was
they
about to
do.
say, get more truth out of them than you will me. Anyway, so Eddie has a 10-minute Christmas.
Yeah. In and out.
Because apparently
Job done.
Japan, they don't really celebrate it. It's just like,
Do you reckon
well
he-
done, done.
Do you reckon he does a review on Santa? Fucking hell, mate. You're fucking shit down there. Body position was fucking awful. Presents were delayed. You're shit, mate. You're out of shape. You're darb shit. What's your body fat? Well, your accelerations are crap.
I feel this is just a cognitive
Regurgitation.
regurgitation. That's the word.
Well, you asked him what he has for Christmas.
Who?
You asked Ben what they eat for Christmas. He never finished.
What do you want for
It's
Christmas?
fine.
What do you
It's
eat?
fine.
Welcome to my world.
What does
We're
he
just
eat?
Yeah, it
passengers
is
in the
complicated.
sidecar of shambles.
Do you,
I feel
are
for
you
you.
a,
I
are you
know.
a turkey trimmings and everything?
So you're going to ask me what I have for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, go back to Dubai and tell you how good Hask was DJing, because obviously the flow doesn't, the script never needs to be
we don't
respected.
promote Haskell on this show.
And
We
no,
knock
I'll,
it
tell-
down.
I'll tell you two things. I waited 20 bloody minutes in the line to get into the place where he was, right? And there's this guy that comes up, is like, Haskell's mates, whatever. An English dude, obviously. So I'm looking, he's giving you the blink. And he obviously pointed at
Is
somebody
that the
behind
first time
me.
you've nodded to being Haskell mate?
And
How good was this gig?
Listen, and in the end, the guy picked out some people, brought them in. We actually ended up being absolutely smoked, and the security just didn't let them through. So they got out, we got in, and just saw Hask do the whole sort of little finger flick all
he
the
loves
time.
it.
Yeah, really good flick.
The hand flick.
I realized that he needs a security because I almost got there, and then I got hit in the chest by this dude who looked at me and then said, "Oh, you sure?" And I said, "Don't worry, he's good, he's good." Okay. So big deal, big performance. Very pleased for him. He got the crowd absolutely buzzing, and such a special place. And then I eat goose for Christmas. I think that's the whole thing about the show. You never answer the question, and in the end, you just break actually the thing that you want.
That's our
before.
first T-shirt of
Originally,
2022.
I eat goose.
Oh, no, come on. The
Let's go
butter
on the-
nutter and
no.
then I eat goose.
It's going on the tour.
Do you know what the
It's
interesting
tour
thing is?
t-shirts.
We've all got wives. Every one of us has got wives with character. So it's like we come here and now we're allowed to talk. And it's like, but you ask a question, but it's what you've wanted to say all day. He goes, yeah, no, I would punch a lion. You're like, well, I didn't ask you about that. Yeah, but swan can break a man's arm. You're like, sorry, we're not even talking about that.
Can I just go on the record at this point, because she listens occasionally? I don't have a wife with character. I'm allowed to do whatever I like, whenever I like,
Yeah, that's
darling.
Bullshit.
Darling, love you. Love you.
Should we do an awards ceremony? Was that
Okay.
boring? I don't know why I'm looking at you. What do you want to do?
But you,
No, do
always,
the awards.
you always do this,
Do the
right?
awards.
You always do this because you're an
Bring
absolute
it
rugby.
back to rugby.
You're always
okay,
a rugby
shut up.
laws, and you bring it back to.
Okay, we
let's
asked-
do moment of the year.
We
Let's
asked
do
for questions from the runners and riders. You don't want those either.
No, but I mean, so
Do you just want to
open
keep-
the forums
So-
of nausea.
so
Can
you-
I just say one thing?
You
Sorry.
engaged with the mob.
Yeah, can I just say one
We
thing?
sent Shira in. She
Right.
just made it out alive.
So I know we like joke, and I know I've said all the time about nauseas, and then people come and go, "Oh, I'm sorry to be a nause," and then proceed to nause the fuck out of you, and they completely miss the point.
See, I don't get that, right? And I said
So I
this,
don't either. I get
said
really
this-
nice people saying thank you for what you do in the community and your
I
lovely
said this to
pod.
someone. He goes, "I'm really, really sorry to interrupt you." I said, "Well, you're obviously not.
Yeah,
You fucking interrupted
Yeah,
me."
exactly.
And I'm sat having dinner with my family, and he goes, "Actually, fair point, but can I still do it?"
Yeah.
At least he's stuck with his
So
story. But
I got this. So when I was DJing, I would get people going, Hask, and they'd come over. And the reason I had security, I was like, listen, no nauseas. Like, photos, fine, no nausea. I get this bloke come over and he goes, Hask, my son. I was like,
Man,
no.
that was mean, Hask. Don't be mean now. Come on, now we're just trying to get a hug.
No, there was. I would hug you, no doubt, but there was loads of people, and it happened about 6 or 7 times. So someone would go, Hask, my son's a massive. I was like, mate, I'm DJ, I can't do it. Woman goes, James, my son goes to school, and I was like, love, no. I just
calm
go,
down.
no. I had to tell them to go to basically, in uncertain terms, leave. That, when you're doing something, nobody wants to know that your son's friend used to go to my former school. Nobody cares. But if they've got some nice questions to say, and or to ask, I'm in for that.
do you ever fall into Ricky Bobby mode, where you just get in signing mode and you sign people's heads, faces?
Yeah. I would sign someone's face.
How often do people come up and say nice things to you? Because there is a proverb which fell out of the jungle, which is the biggest shit attracts the most flies. And in this instance, I think it's very true.
This show's been a bit of a nightmare because now a lot more people say, "I love the show," more than you actually quite a good rugby player. So
Right.
you like it, but you also think,
Right.
Have
We love the people.
I like the people
I
as long
like
as
the
I'm
people.
behind the DJ decks with security. That's how much I love it. It's like I love the people in a controlled line format.
I have never heard Hask so excited about describing his. Because I was like, we were going through the journey of what it's like to be a DJ. He goes, "It's brilliant," because we both do after dinner stuff and this and that. He goes, "It's like the buzz of doing after dinner stuff where you tell your funnies and you do this, you do your one man show like you did, but you don't have to talk to people. It's brilliant, and they can't have access to you. And I can set what I want to drink in the back room.
Yeah.
I want a bottle of that. I want a bottle of that. I need to get into DJing."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like the great unwashed as long as they're through either the window of my Range Rover or behind a barrier. Then they're great. But I explained about nausing. So I say it again, just for a Christmas lesson, because we're going to New Year, New You. Going up and going, "Hi, excuse me, I'd love a photo." Absolutely fine. Going, "Sorry to nose you, but can I have a photo?" And then you go for a photo and they go, "Yeah, well, actually, I was going to play rugby when I was younger, but my knee fell off, and then I decided not to do that. But I was wondering if, anyway, my friend of mine used to go to school." And you're like, "Sorry, what? Why are we here for 20 minutes when we could have just done this in 5 seconds?"
Because it's the moment of their life.
No, it's not.
You're
Though.
giving
I am
them a
not
small-
anybody's moment of life. Few ladies would disagree. That's sorry.
That really is it.
They
That
would
really is
describe
a
it-
5-second job,
They
isn't
would,
it?
yeah, they were
Well,
a semi-moment.
4 seconds of apologising and 1 minute of fun.
Right.
What do you want to start with? The reward?
I don't really know. We're quite close to the end of the show, so
Shara,
we could just cup out
welcome.
a couple of bouquets and go there. Questions from the floor.
Can we pause?
How many beers did the Lord really sink on the return flight from Oz in 2003? Was it the tour or the
No, the
tournament?
World Cup.
It was David Boone who had 43,
David Boone had 43 cans on the way back.
and you hit.
I stopped at 29.
Why? Why would you go
Well,
all
we got
that far?
off at Singapore.
I
Big
like that.
problems in life.
I like that. And then did you reboot and go again?
No, because we had to carry Catty off the plane.
Right.
Yes,
How far had he gone with you on the 29?
Yeah, well, no, he was. We played cards on the way back, and he didn't realise that we'd stitched it. So we fixed 15 hands of cards, basically. So he lost all 15, and it was he had to drink after every game he lost.
Right.
So we had to carry Catty off the plane.
So the finest few days of his life were spent.
Oh, he still loved it. Catty's a great man.
Do you
doing
regret
great things at Ireland.
He is doing great things at Ireland. Actually, Shane Hawkins said that as well. What do you regret not going for the 43rd? Would you?
Well,
would that be an
yes,
accolade
now,
you would
because
like?
it's a thing, and I have to say that I failed at something. So yes, I would
Well, I mean,
like to
just let's recount that tour. You won a World Cup and came out with a princess. So I think we'll pretty much just wind that in.
Can we do when are we next going down
You
to
have to
Australia?
remember
Let's
that-
go to New Zealand for the Women's World Cup.
Yes.
And
Which we're going
we'll-
to support in a capacity. And let's see if we can do 43 cans on the way there.
Let's
Right.
go
Can I
through.
do- can I
Let's
do
go through
4.3?
Sydney, and then we can do it.
Okay.
But you have to remember those cans are, on a plane are
Stubbies.
quite small. Yeah.
Who was the finest in your French crew
Oh, wow.
at that game?
I think the biggest reputation in French rugby at the moment by a mile,
Yeah.
unfortunately isn't French. And it's the big human piano, Joe Tekori.
Oh yeah.
He can take on absolutely anyone on any day with a big fucking smile on his face. And he's a legend of a bloke.
Yeah.
And he's the kindest bloke you've ever met. Just to tell you, and that will sum up how good of a bloke he is, he got invited, 5 times to the Babas
Yeah.
in the UK. And he just captained French Babas a couple of weeks
Did he
ago.
really?
Yeah. He's a legend of a bloke. He's absolutely unmovable. There's a few guys like this. There's Romain Tao, Fifenua,
Yeah.
the big lock, who's a proper mission to try to get down.
Yeah.
Now there's a couple of guys like that, but no tens in that.
Was Chabal any good back in the day? Sebastian Bruno, he was also, he
No.
was like a squat pint glass.
No. Well, I'll tell you that. For the little that I know of them, not really. Sebastian Chabal, definitely not.
No.
But Sylvain Marconnet was a handful with
Yeah.
Peter de Villiers in the good old days.
Yeah.
The
There
two-
was some
the two
good.
Stade
There was
Français
some
props.
good back. Imanol Haranordiki could not.
But he's not.
Yash could pile a few reds away.
No, but the two of them, Emmanuel and Yash and Damien Traille and all that Biarritz
yeah,
click
yeah.
would always click together and stuff. But they are clever. They are
Ah,
always very clever.
Tactical.
What about,
Yes.
were you there in the squad when someone pooed on Fabian Pelouse's 100 cap silver salver? Have you heard that story?
No. You know, any game that the French team won, I wasn't part of.
No, apparently.
Just like
well,
Ask.
I say apparently. Allegedly, Rafael Ibanez crapped on Fabian Pelouse's silver salver for getting 100 caps or whatever it was. And for some reason, they didn't do anything about it, left this turd on this silver salver. And when they washed it off in the morning, or a day and a half later, it took all the pewter off it. So, like, Pelouse is walking around with a poo-stained pewter plate with a Rafael Ibanez turd burnt through
This
it.
is Raphael Ibanez, the grand dame of French rugby right now.
I can't wait to see your notes on your computer. Because I don't think one of them has got Rafael Ibanez.
Next question.
has got-
Who should be the next England captain and why?
Also,
Exactly.
Raf shat in Phil Vickery's bag as well.
Right.
That's why you should never take on Raf, because it gets very dirty very quickly.
This is going to be one of those shows where it's 4 of us on the YouTube video and Haas doesn't speak for an hour and 15 minutes. And cut.
I was just about to say
but you
someone
missed-
pooed in Pierre Rabadan's true.
Exactly. So I was going to say, you missed out on the absolute legend of a bloke called Grégory Maillet, but you just missed him by a couple of years before you arrived in Stade. He was this number 9, stuck in number 9, who was always on the bench for Augustin Pichot. But, you know, he's the guy that everybody wants in the team. My word, was he funny. We completely loose.
talking about me or-
No, he was even funnier than you, and not in terms of,
not sure
of
it's
jokes,
possible.
just in terms of what he did.
Yeah.
There was this one guy, you know, he'd be walking around with a pigeon suit because he was protesting about the fact that pigeons were being murdered in Paris. And then everybody's in the bus out from a night or whatever, and they're like, oh, who wants to tackle him? Oh, puts his hand up, whatever, melts this dude. But he was sprinting 100 meters, broke 2 ribs to the bloody guy, who then had to do a lap of Jean Bouin protesting for pigeons being saved in Paris. You know, to say sorry, Max had to figure it out. He was always the guy to do whatever. And he shat on Pierre Rabadan's, how do you say, where you wipe your feet in front of a door? The
Doormat.
Doormat.
Yeah, doormat.
Yeah.
Is it
So
trick
you-
or treat night?
No,
In the bag, set on fire.
To be fair to them, they were like neighbors. You know, they're like doors opposite or whatever. So there was always something that was going to happen to Pierre Rabadan, who's a legend of a bloke from Stade Français, and Pierre Rabadan obviously, you know, took it upon himself to give him back. And before a really important game, he was breathing to qualify to a championship that Stade Français ended up by winning. He shat in his boots. And Grégory Maillet
Can
is
I
there.
just pause at this point and say, this wasn't exactly the Christmas show I was envisaging.
No, but let me. This one is
He
priceless.
shouts in his boots. Please continue.
So he takes his boot. He obviously puts his foot in it, realizes full of shit. You know, the noise is not really great. So
Out
then
the side, over the top.
he goes in the showers. In the shower, he tries to clean his boot, But in the showers, I was like, Haspel, no, every single forward is there, rubbing each other's faces, whatever, going at it, going, come on, we've got to be the strongest, whatever. And Bibi Oradou, the second row for Stade Français at the time, grabs Grégory Maille and is like, listen, you little shit, you've been joking around all year, whatever. Headbutts him. So the guy's got a boot full of shit, has got the shower, falling, the water falling upon his head, and just got headbutted by a big old second row. So he's in a world of pain. Takes his moldies, whatever, plays the game. They win the game, they qualify. What he didn't realize is that Pierre shat in both boots. So the second one was still in the bag for another couple of days after that game. Oh, there's some funny, beautiful stories in France.
Rugby and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Austin Healy.
Please continue, Mike. We haven't got enough of this in the show.
Austin Healy pooed in. See how I do it? Pooed.
Yeah.
In
Abluted.
in Leon Lloyd's boot, I think, at one time because Leon had annoyed him. There was Richard Webster back in the Lions in 80.
Richard Webster, 93.
Richard Webster and Will
That
Carling.
was a tour that went very off the rails.
Yeah. In Will Carling, he shat and put it in the air vent. So Will couldn't find it, but the room just stank.
Right. Can we segue from defecating in boots through to Chris Brownlow's question? Did the Queen like tins at first, or did you have to go on the charm offensive? Did you get sweaty palms before your first meeting as a royal consort?
I did get sweaty palms. I think anyone who... Why have you managed to make that classy?
We're not doing the story.
No, that's why we're not. That's what I know.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, of course. She's such a legend of a lady that I still get nervous now when I see her. I'm way more comfortable now, but it's been a journey. She just sets examples for everyone. You look.
She could do that around here.
Well, she obviously she doesn't pass it on that well. But,
I know. If only she did.
Yeah, I think she's just a fantastic human being, and what she's had to endure through her whole life is a credit to who she is and what she does for the nation. You look at what she did in terms of setting examples at the Duke's funeral and sat on her own, did everything by the book and exposed herself like that. And that is what needed to be done in the country at that time. Who knew that whilst she was doing that, politicians were doing everything that they were doing? They should maybe learn from her.
They could indeed.
100%.
Are you Michael, Lord Tyndall of Tyndalltown?
I'm Mike.
Are you? I'm Alex.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Jokes aside, do you see her at Christmas? Is there some sort of celebration for the family or something? Or
so generally, yes.
You don't need. You can cut that out. It's literally just out of interest.
Tins has to do like an interpretive dance for her, like it's Morris dancing. He has to throw some handkerchiefs and do something. It's the thing, like if you're not part of a royal, you have to do a display. Like a peacock and a thing. You wouldn't understand your French, but it's like he's got the wooden stick.
You're pretty good at peacocking, aren't you?
For example, I think I told this before, but you haven't heard it. For example, I took one of these suits because I thought it would be funny. So I went, what an arsehole! I went down for breakfast in one of these suits, sat there for breakfast. And then it was on a day that it was...
If you have sweaty palms normally, how sweaty are the palms when you are gambling on an Oppo suit?
Yeah, so wondering
Windsor
how
Castle
it would
on
go.
Christmas morning.
So went for breakfast, but we weren't going to go to church. There was a few personal reasons why we weren't going for church. And so I was thinking that I'm not having to walk to church in the opposite, so I can wear it. We'll see how it goes. But the Queen had flu at the time, so she didn't go to church either. So then we had a private session with one of the chaplains back at Sandringham, and she was dressed and I was dressed in this suit.
Can I ask a question? It's a bit like when you skive off and you're like, oh, fuck, I got rid of that. Don't have to do a religious thing. They're like, no, we'll bring it home. You're like, I don't have to. We've got a chaplain. Well, don't worry about it. No, come in and do one with the Queen. You don't feel like you have to. No, you're in, and you're there going, and they're like doing a full service, and it goes on 2 hours longer than the original one. You're like, oh yeah. Next question.
Do you still paint your toenails?
Yes, they're painted a coral pink, a coral at the moment.
Mine are still painted the same colour as when you painted them in Penny Park at the start of the season 2.
What did the girls think of that, by the way?
They liked it. They were like, ooh.
Do you know what?
But that was September.
I know.
But they grow out. It takes a while to grow
It
out.
doesn't take that long. I do mine, and mine definitely grow faster than September to December.
Yeah, but bear in mind, it's probably not. They're not all the pink, all coloured all the way down.
Yeah, they are.
But but
Mine
they
have
grow
gone
out.
everything apart from my big toe.
Yeah,
Right.
but mine. No, I had mine refreshed the other day, and as I was walking through the hotel, this guy was like, "Oh, I see you've coloured your feet," and he went, "Yes, your daughter do this," and I was like, "No." He goes, "Oh, you do it for a joke," and I was like, "No." Like in Dubai, he's like, "So what was the reason?" And I was like, "Listen, mate, I just like painting my toenails." Like, I don't understand. I was like, "Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine." No, they're lovely coral. Yeah, I do still paint them.
Tempted? I do mine because, actually, my daughter used to do it, and when I go away, it would remind me of my kids.
Are we genuinely joking about this?
No, 100%. God's honest truth. I
There's
used to
like
paint my toenails.
3 guys out of 4 around this table who paint their
Welcome
toenails.
to the gang.
Wowzers.
You see,
And
you-
I thought France was ooh la la.
Did you not read that in the
Oh my
contract?
God. When you say you painted them, you haven't done them very well.
No, because they came.
Can you put your bunions away?
Oh wow, that is
They didn't
awkward.
try.
That is very,
Yeah,
very
basically,
weird.
I couldn't be. It took a
You
while.
need to be on microphone because you're just
Sorry.
chatting into the ether. It's how podcasts
Thanks,
work.
Mike. No, sound is the important medium, not visual. I don't understand. No, I had them done, and I tried to dry them, and the woman put the little fan on it, and I was like, I can't be arsed with this. Put my socks on, they stuck to the socks, and I pulled them off.
So my most beautiful try of the year is, again,
So
bloody
boring.
hell.
He's trying to protect his reputation.
I just saw toenails that were painted.
Yeah, it's very
You
odd.
didn't know I did that?
I
You see what my knob
even
looks
in-
like?
Even in Stad, you were wild, but you weren't that wild.
So Shira's just messaged to say not only did she quit, but she is now suing us for constructive dismissal. She's put a lot of work into this show.
So yeah,
And we ain't on track.
What's the next question?
I said it was going to be back at 8:30. It's 7:30.
Do you-
There's absolutely no
honestly,
chance.
is that? Oh, you know?
I honestly said that.
You're trying to quit, are you?
Okay.
No, but
Sound like you are.
You can be snuggling up to me in the Stafford later.
Yeah,
Sound like
exactly.
kebab kids
Once you're in,
getting
you're all
smashed.
in.
it's Christmas.
Next question from one of the Northers.
Favorite club you played for? All of you can say that.
Favorite
You've
club.
got one more game for one of your clubs.
Oh,
Leicester Clermont Stade.
no, it's not about the club. It's about the time.
Okay,
It'd be Stade Français 2007
because
because it was just special. I went back into it was the Dominici. It was 4 different teams that were absolutely extraordinary. It was an owner who just every single Monday had the crazy ideas like you lot would paint the nails or whatever it was. But there was something doing out of the box, right? And it was exciting. It was modern. It was forward thinking. It was extraordinary. There was an unbelievable brotherhood. And in 2 years, I went to Leicester. I adored Leicester. I came back to Stade. It was a different world. Not
Really?
because Hask was there. I just mean it was a different
Sounds
world. It
like
was.
it.
Hask would have been like un poisson dans l'eau, a fish in the sea in 2007. You would have loved it even more than you loved it afterwards. There's just, there's a moment to be at the right time, at the right place and whatever. 06 to 07 in Stade was definitely one of them.
I think our moment, right time, right place, was about a year and a half ago. Clinging on since then. Bath or Gloss?
It's very, very, very hard decision. But I have to take Gloucester because, even though I was in that Bath era where I got in at the right time, they won the European Cup at that, the first year that I was there. I wasn't really involved in that. And then we unfortunately got rid of quite a lot of quite quality players. And then it was a bit of an uphill battle after that. So at least when I went to 2005, when I went to Gloucester, Dean Ryan was in fantastic form and we obviously won European Challenge Cup in that first year, but we sat at the top of the league for 3 years. Didn't win anything, but that team was quite special, which played a completely unique way of playing, which a lot of what modern rugby is now with the 2 guys up front, person behind was developed there. And I think that's where that all started. So, yeah. And I got to play with people like Sinbad, Django, James Simpson, Daniel, James Forrester, just guys who
Yeah, but you're good mates. That's why you get to call them this nickname.
Chums.
Rugby friends. If anything, family.
My only regret was not playing with James Haskell.
Oh, we did.
You did. You played for England.
No, for England.
Right.
I mean, club.
But that,
Yeah, did you forget that one?
Would you
that
like to
went
have played with Hask in your club?
England went well together. Do you remember how
Did
good
I
that
ever-
was?
Did I ever play with Hask? What?
Would you like to play club rugby with Hask?
I think so. Quite like characters.
Right.
And I've always liked Hask. I've always told him this. It's a detriment. I've got a really bad judge of character.
You're drunk most of the time, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But, I like people who just get in there. And club rugby is about having fun all the time. And you need characters like Hask.
Stad, Highlanders,
Oh, hello.
Rico Blackgrams, Wasps, or Northampton. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Fucking
Great
tricky,
knowledge.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not money related, huh?
Yeah.
No.
Where do you earn the most?
It's
Where
never.
did you earn the most?
I think pro rata was Japan.
Really? Was that good cash?
Least was Highlanders, then
was
followed
gonna
by
say- Was
that pocket money?
Then followed by Northampton, and then Wasps, and then
If you say Stad, I'm gonna
then
choke.
Stad, and then Japan. Yes.
So, sorry,
That's-
no, so
that's
you've gone
second
round.
top.
You've gone on.
Yeah.
So least Highlanders,
So
then
least
Northampton,
Highlanders, then Northampton,
Northampton was pocket money.
then Wasps,
Then Wasps.
yeah, and then Stad.
Then Stad. Good
and then
cash at that
Japan.
point.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
And Rico,
But it's
mega cash.
Very tax
Most good
efficient
cash,
in
yeah.
France, though,
it
wasn't it?
was.
as well?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Japan. Japan was
two
living was
times.
very expensive, but
Sorry.
But you spent it well.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. Yeah, so we look back at those fond memories, just go, yeah. We had some good times.
Do you want to share them?
Many good times. Yeah, probably not. Probably not
week.
share. Don't box yourself in. Don't let us define it. I'd say Wasps. That time that we won the Heineken and then we won the Premiership was quite good. I started in the Premiership
Well,
final.
it can't really get much better.
No,
for a
it's
club,
not.
can it?
I came on and made that 80-metre run and should have fucking scored in the Heineken Cup final. And it was it was Martin Johnson's last game, and that was my final revenge. Unlucky, Jono, we beat you in the final, and he would have wanted to kill me. I'd say that period though was pretty special. But he actually, one of the questions I always get asked is, which would you go back to? And every single one of them, it has an amazing moment. Stade Francais, just surrounded by unbelievable talent.
Thank you.
Japan. Playing with Marlon, culturally like insane. Nobody's watching, nobody cared about me. Could have easily put my feet up, learned a lot about myself. New Zealand, all we'd ever watched of New Zealand was highlight reels on Sky. Stuart Barnes talking about rugby being an invention, something they were playing over that no one else could comprehend.
But you still got knocked out and everyone burnt your furniture.
Great days.
Honestly, on a genuine note, so recently in Ruckme, I told a story about improving Kiwi lovers and various other things, and told a story.
Was this a manual exercise, or was this?
It was a book recommendation. But you have to buy Ruckme to understand it. And I told the story.
Clever. See what he's done there.
Is it still available for all Christmas stockings?
It is, and it's actually, this is the key time for you to buy it, because Christmas can be a bit of a dull time, especially with Omicron. If you need a laugh, then buy Ruckme. It's actually called Ruckme. I've written another book.
Ruckme, you bloody well have, haven't you? You've got Ruckme, there's another one coming in 10 minutes' time.
Ruckme, there is another one coming out in
Well, the best
2022.
thing about the third one, isn't it, that it's written by other people.
This is very true. My favourite kind of book. But actually, Mapasua, whose house I was living in, when they burnt his furniture, made 3 separate bonfires, one of them next to propane tank, smashed the whole place up.
Did you get your deposit back?
Well, I actually paid for these professional cleaners to come in, and Mapasua, who I've bumped into 3 times before, and every time he's come into a room, I've shit myself and fuck, he's going to come up and say, hey bro, what the fuck have you done to my fucking house? He messaged me the other day out the blue after New Zealand Herald put it on the front page. This was 2 weeks ago. Haskell improves Kiwi lovers. Haskell burns down house. Haskell calls police on Highlanders teammates. Mapasua just sent me again, bro, you must have got a professional cleaning team in. I was like, I did. I did. But it was awful. Let me see. I don't know if I actually...
I just love the fact he's just warning.
Here we are. This is the message I got. He sent me the message, and this is the headline of the New Zealand Herald, just so we're clear on what it said, right? It said, Haskell recounts out of control Highlanders party, right? Members of the Highlanders Super Rugby squad have been sanctioned over the past 2 seasons for off-field antics gone awry. They pale into comparison to what happened with English Test star, I was a star, James Haskell threw a party at the end of his stint with Dunedin franchise. Haskell recounted the story, and he revealed how a party he threw in the southern city resulted in All Blacks Jimmy Cowan and Lima Sapawanga being knocked out. His receiving facial injuries, garden furniture, and some of his clothes being torched, and police being called, right? So I was like, fuck, that's pretty punchy headlines. That was and I wrote back to Mapasua, because all he's done is sent me that. I went, ha, 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 smiley face, sketchy eyes. And I said, wondered when you would message me. He's replied with, laugh face, laugh face, laugh face. Crack me up, brother. Me and the missus having a laugh about it, because you must have got some commercial cleaners in. Hope you're well, my man. I was like, I did. Fucking lads. And then he's gone, lads down south are a bit different, bro. And I was like, mental. And then that's the last
ended
conversation.
the conversation.
Yeah, but that was terrifying. And they
How cool is that?
Jimmy Cowan is the greatest human being on the planet. He's
wow.
so loose, and his missus called Christina Rabbit.
Shut up.
Literally called Christina Rabbit.
Called Christina Rabbit.
No, she's not.
She is called Christina Rabbit.
Well, what's her last name?
Mrs. Rabbit.
She is literally
Lapin.
Now it makes sense.
Now you
Now it
understand,
makes
yeah.
sense. Okay. Merci.
Madame Lapin.
Merci,
She's
Madame
5'10".
Lapin. Là, je comprends.
but fights at 6'1". She's like Jimmy's 6'1". The only
I have to have
scrum half
therapy
is
off the back of
6'1".
this show.
But Jimmy is unbelievable, literally unbelievable. Because
Didn't he arrive at Gloucester and go straight to Cheltenham Races? And
he went straight to Cheltenham Races, and he was in a bar. We were on a social. He might have got carried away, and he just put up he was like on the table going, "Whoa!" And what he didn't quite get right was cherry and whites. He went red and whites, red and whites. No, Jimmy, cherry. He didn't quite get that, but he nailed it.
I'll try to help you, Alex.
please do, Ben.
What I
can.
love about this is an actual genuine comment.
Yeah.
You can ask stupid questions and
You get
everybody's
stupid
having
answers.
and everybody's having fun, and we're going out there. But if you dig deep, all the answers are about people.
Yeah.
All the answers about who did you connect with, when, how, for what reason, and
I
you
knew
said
why we signed him up.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. And that's something genuinely that unites us all. It's the reason why we're around the table.
Yeah.
Is because however stupid Hask is, he will pretend to be stupid and throw himself out there because he wants the team to be better. And then you said that you were happy to play with Sinbad. I don't even know who he is, but still, it's like people that you connect with. It's not about an era. It's not about what you've won, what you haven't, or whatever. And that's what I said straight away. I was surrounded by legends that I had posters of in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And so it's about people. So rugby.
But it's not just the people that play the game, is it?
That's it. So we had 45 seconds. Can I just say
Thank you, Ben. That is this week's promo. Snip, snip. Somebody.
No,
Would you
I'm
like to take your clothes
going to
off?
join in. I'm going to join in. It's not just the beauty of rugby is not just about the players who play the game. It's the owners. It's Max
Yeah.
who owns Stade Francais.
Well, in France, at least.
Well, in France, but it's about the Nigel Rays. It's about there is loads of people.
Can I tell you what this is like? This is like being at an after party, right? And it's about 4 a.m, and people are going, "No, man, you just got to understand. It's about heart." And you're like, "Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's about feelings, and it's about the owners." And like, yeah, no, what I was talking about was how much I like rugby.
American accent.
Why do you
when
have to
speak
go
about that.
American though?
Oh, because they're so fucking over emotional and annoying.
It's 4 a.m. and there are 4 people at the table and each are talking to themselves. Is what
but
this
it's
show
like,
is.
We're going.
No,
yeah,
you're the best man.
No, but that was my
you.
point. That was my point. It was about emotion and the people I was with. Yeah, but you're not understanding. It was about the owners. Look, at the end of the day, rugby's all right. We got paid all right. We had a good time. We crack on.
If you tuned in for a deep dive on last weekend's Heineken Champions Cup action,
Oh, fuck off.
no doubt you're a bit disappointed with shit-filled boots, burning furnaces of houses and Kiwi sex drive. But that is what this show does.
Any more questions?
Do you want them?
Yeah,
This is a good one. We've all got other gigs. Ask you about 40,000.
I don't really need this. That's the underlying thing. But the
Trust
best
me.
thing about it is about humans and emotion.
We've
So,
all got other gigs.
finally.
How central in your lives /important is GBR to each of you?
not important at all. It's something I do on a Monday because I've got fuck all else to do. Because honestly, I write this off as some sort of tax break thing. I need the travel expenses. It's fine. And do you know what? Talking to you lot, it's sort of like caring the community project, so it's fine.
I'm really
Wow.
Say that looking at
Do you
Mike
know,
in the
yeah.
eyes.
No,
Mate,
not
you.
you lot.
You
Yeah,
are the
fans.
biggest softie.
No,
I've
no,
ever
no,
seen.
no.
We have done more to keep you on this planet than anybody else.
All the fucking work we've done on making Haskell nice.
I was
When he
talking
said
about
the-
that
when he
time
said-
that we invested.
When he said the question, how did you 3 meet? I think he's talking to Tins, Ben, and I. You can fuck off.
Yeah.
It was all about
I need to
being-
do an intervention.
Look,
I would.
I've had the best
Hi, I'm
times.
James Haskell. I'm a ginaholic. I just want to...
I've had the best times out
Ginaholic.
with Ben. We did some beautiful stuff at Barry Brothers and Run. Thank you, Barry Brothers and Run.
Tins is now
Lovely
losing
wine.
the power of speech.
Lovely wine.
I had a great time.
So Northern,
Show us reach that
otherwise
point.
I'll flip into Northern.
Consonant Tins, just the odd consonant to help us
but-
disseminate.
Great time at
What
Barry
we
Brothers
do,
and
what
Run.
we do up north is we lose consonants.
Right.
Anyway,
Northern boys love gravy.
I actually am going to push James aside now because he was a bit mean there.
No, I was
That's
talking about
unkind.
the fans.
No, you're one of those people at Christmas. You've overcooked it a bit. You're starting to show off.
Or one of those
Time to calm
irritating,
down.
one of those relatives that
I
just come
think-
round.
Have a little think about
I
what you've
think
done.
moving forward, the good, the bad, the rugby. Alex,
The good, the Ben, and the rugby.
the good,
Oh,
the good,
E-brand.
the Ben, and the rugby is the way forward.
Très bien. The good bien and the rugby.
I'm not
The
available
bien.
enough, and I'm too expensive.
Not
for
available.
I'm too
You
expensive
are
for you
bloody
guys.
expensive.
You
Next
like-
question.
Right,
And
I'm
now
bored
we
of the
just realised
questions.
he's like Haskell.
We're getting into the final section of the show permanently. Good, bad, and rugby.
Why? Why are you
Just
trying?
read the name out now.
Give up.
Give me
Give up.
something
Just
that's been
give up.
good about rugby in 2021.
Just give up.
Right, I see why you looked at me. I think what's good about rugby in 2021
Just keep saying this. Keep answer the question and the answer.
Chat
because
to
it
Phil.
gives you time to think. I think
Each pick one thing.
No, I think Northern Hemisphere rugby at a high right now. I think where they, you just can't take it now, can you?
It's
You can't
very
s-
hard to segue back from that, I have to be honest with you.
You can't switch.
Yeah.
I think French
Yes, please.
rugby has just elevated itself to another level.
100%.
I think Northern Hemisphere rugby, I think what's going on in terms of the top 10 teams in the world, top 8 teams in the world, and how they can beat each other every other week. The tries that we're scoring, hopefully, we had an interview with Eddie last week, and he said that Six Nations will drop a level, or it'll get more attritional, intense. We asked him the question, why? Why can't we still play that rugby? I know weather plays a role in it, but I think everyone's watching Northern Hemisphere rugby right now. They're watching international Six Nations rugby.
No one's watching this anymore, that's for sure.
Sorry.
What's wrong?
No, nothing.
He's still laughing about the gag that will have been cut out of this show. And if you are watching and listening to it, yeah.
So, no, I think we're in a really good place. I think
I was laughing at you trying to be coherent. about talking about rugby,
Just
literally
ask
just
me.
listing everything that's ever happened. Yeah, no, I think rugby was great in this the hemisphere. And Eddie said it was going to be this, and France are really good, and Northern Hemisphere was great.
What's your
And-
contribution to good in 2021?
Oh, you want me to be serious now?
You don't have to do any. It doesn't matter what I want
What
you to
made
do.
you happy?
I think Leicester, the resurgence of Leicester,
Hello, that's
is
sensible.
fantastic. I
it's,
thought.
it's gone domestic.
I
Yeah.
thought, really good. I think obviously Northern Hemisphere is great.
That's what Tim
especially
said.
because everyone in the world pipes off Southern Hemisphere. So they're the best ever.
So
it's
do
like every dog has its day. This is our day. Does it matter because we're not winning a World Cup year? No.
But this is it. People are now messaging me from South Africa, from Australia, and they're actually watching our rugby, which is a good thing. And we talked about it the other week on the Champions Cup show. Is that
Yep.
right?
Heineken Champions Cup, correct?
Okay. You had to get that
That's why
right.
you've got no friends.
Yeah.
That's why nobody
Trust me, hang out
likes
with you. I don't really want them.
That's why nobody likes
So that's what we talked about on the Heineken's Champions Cup show.
Heineken's, yep.
I love a pint of
Fucking hell.
Heineken.
He always
We'll
has
do another
42
one.
of them.
That's what we talked about on the Heineken Champions Cup show. Is I think we've got individuals out there, whether it be Dupont, Punu,
Oh, wow.
Puno.
Massive.
Puno. Who knew? Puno.
whether we've got Dupont, Entomac, Pinot. I know I've only mentioned French people at the moment, but then you look at Marcus Smith, Don Brandt. Let's go somewhere else.
Radwan.
Doris,
Slade,
Doris,
Radwan with the best try of the season.
Radwan.
Yeah.
You have got people from every nation, which we haven't included, but I think it's so strong at the moment in terms of individuals. I think we can carry that European Heineken European Championship Cup I think we can.
You know that roundabout? We're just
Yeah.
continuing
I
around.
felt I stuck in a
And it's like
time
the
warp.
map
This-
is
This
like-
is not
I
what
missed
our
the
thing
going.
is. This is not what our
I
thing is.
missed
This
it.
is
The
we're not
China can
detail
Hampkins
men.
pump.
We're not detail men.
We are
This is where
certainly not that.
This is where you can do the Heineken Champions Cup.
Oi, Finn Russell, revelation for the Lions.
There you go.
Cameo of the season.
And Racing.
And also, do you know what? If you're asking me what my favourite moment of 2021 is how good the Red Roses have been. They've been a dominant force. They've absolutely smoked New Zealand twice.
What's so frustrating is that you can actually do it.
I know.
It's a
but
bit
I
like
don't
my
want
children.
to.
No, you don't. Okay.
I tell you why I don't want to, because there's a lot of washed-up ex-players doing it already, and I don't want to take their cash as well as all the DJ cash, the afternoon speaking cash, influencer cash, funny cash, podcast cash. Everybody needs to have a little bit of something.
You need the cash,
I
mainly
absolutely
for
do.
bail
Why?
reasons.
Because lots of people
when
want
are
to
you-
take it off me.
When are you going to change your name to the Swiss Army knife?
The pen knife, yeah.
Is
I
your
don't
name?
know.
Are you available for a name change?
Yeah, right, genuinely.
Which brand would you happily
No,
change your name to?
It doesn't matter. It's about the money. For £1 million, I will change my name for a year.
To what?
Paddy Power,
No, that's
Nestle,
been done.
Dairy Milk, Cadbury's Caramel, the
Lillet-
Milky Bar.
Lilette's Haskell.
Yeah.
Ribbed for
Lillet.
her pleasure.
Yeah. Durex.
Durex Haskell.
Yeah. Trojan. I'll
That
do it
ain't-
all.
That ain't happening.
Dairy Lee. You're welcome.
Ben, please can you bring something that the viewers who come to us for a semblance of
I think
normality.
the viewers who've stayed on
I'll give you a
could
good
not
thing.
care less about what I'm going to say
your
next.
your punditry this year. I'll give you,
Oh, yes, you have been.
you're bloody good at what you do.
Inspiration.
You were.
Yeah.
You were prior to this show. Very, very employable.
Prior to
by
the show,
most of the
exactly.
broadcasters on this side of
No,
the
mate,
hemisphere.
I'll give you this. I think we've had a rock and roll last 2 years, and we realised that rugby without fans and without the excitement around the stadium is shit.
Yeah.
And so we can pride ourselves on having players that are resilient, that are ready. Obviously, they were doing their jobs, don't get me wrong, but still, they were trying to put out a good face, right? They were trying to be positive and embrace the fact that people were stuck at home and were really, really lonely and whatever it was. And rugby played its part, played its role. Some guys won, some guys lost, but at least that was almost irrelevant. And in the end, we got some proper, I do agree with Mike, we got some proper November tests.
Yeah.
Where Northern Hemisphere properly got back into the front stage about saying, listen, in 2023, there's going to be a World Cup in France, most beautiful country in the world, one hell of an event. Some incredible wine is going to be poured there. Please, let's all run, cycle, walk, whatever it is there. But there's going to be some incredible rugby because, like you said, it's there for the taking. I would love France to be favourites, but it's not true. England can do something, and South Africa can be back, and New Zealand will be there. Whatever it takes. All it means is that there's no one dominant force, and that's what we love about rugby. We love some sort of upset be caused about passion, about team spirit, and we whether you like South Africa or not, we were all moved by the story afterwards.
Yeah.
We were all happy that actually, fair enough. If they had something about them, about their soul that was positive, and that they actually have a general intent of being better around them, well, fair enough, they can win it, right? Even if it was against England, and I'm sure England had fantastic motivations behind it, but still. So all I know is that November tests were extraordinary. I've had some moments that are engraved in me. That France-New Zealand game, it's just one game. It's just 80 minutes. Fair enough. It doesn't mean anything, but it was an extraordinary moment. Romain Tavac pivoting in the 5 meter and then going and then flipping that no-look pass to Melvin Jaminet. I could watch that, a long time. At the same time, I will not. There's been a few times when the French really, really scared me. We're the only team in the world that February 2020 against England, we kick it out when there's 2 minutes left. Champions Cup final, La Rochelle, Toulouse. Toulouse do the same bloody thing.
Yeah.
They're about to kick it out, but there's still 45 seconds left. And we do the same thing against Scotland not to win the Six Nations. We could have at that moment, but still to try to win the Six Nations.
And lost the game.
And lost the game. Because we didn't even kick it out. So we like to keep things interesting, right? We
How
like to
good,
keep it there.
how good
France.
is Melvin Jaminet has become my new little crush this year.
And he's got
and he came
9
from
games in
nowhere.
top 14, Mike.
I can't-
9 games in
He
top
came
14.
from nowhere.
I can't
Exactly.
look past how sexy Intermac is.
That hair.
It's got, the
Oh,
hairline
facial
alone, I'm
hair.
jealous. He's just very beautiful.
Yeah, but you gotta
man.
love the fact that he
Mulder.
didn't start the first 2 games. And he started that third one with a bit of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Be like, listen, I love Mathieu Jalibert. There's no issue. They're actually mates, the two of them, but I'm the man. And I'm going to grab the horn by the bull by the horn.
bull by the-
And I'm going to do my thing. Steps in a guy, scores the first try.
The poisson avec le talent.
Don't go there. Don't go there. You're going to ruin your image again.
You are Le Poisson.
Moi. The Poisson Rouge.
Lasted a
We
minute.
used to play a game
Lasted a
called
minute.
Où est le poisson, and we used to take it into
Whoever pass. That was
The poisson,
Poisson.
the fish.
Fish.
I know you're trying to
leave me out of
ruin
this.
me. We used to hide it in a nightclub called. Oh my god!
Tensions on.
Yeah, this is
Cut it with a knife.
Cherry and
Puna.
Where
vanilla.
did you used to hide the fish?
No, it wasn't called
We-
that.
so we used to play a game called Où est le poisson in.
Oh, fuck me. You're forgetting it the third time. Go again.
I really need to go to the toilet.
sorry.
You know,
We
that-
used to play a
You know
game.
Austin Powers, where he just like reversing back and forth and back and forth. There's not an answer coming.
I bought your orange sherbet.
Smoking a
We used to play a game
Bombing a bit.
called
Snap
Où
in
est
a
le
shitstorm.
poisson in Punanars back in Bath.
I said Punanor 10 minutes
no,
ago.
I know, but
You got
for some
trapped in a
reason,
loop.
I got
In a
got-
vortex.
The roundabout. It's the
It was a
roundabout again.
vortex, and you used to have to hide this little plastic Nemo fish somewhere, and the first person that found it, everyone else had to drink.
Is that right?
It worked well on this show, actually.
I once saw a back row for South Francais eat a goldfish.
Right.
If that makes any sense after what you said.
It does.
Yeah.
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 How
Sounds,
do you go?
turns out in France, that was just a starter.
We never saw the gold.
That was a pre-match
We never
meal.
saw the goldfish
Thank
again.
you, yeah.
In
So
the good
you won a
section.
free night on the booze.
Yeah, that was at
Is that right?
Novotel
Yeah.
in Toulouse, and that was the pre-match meal.
I'm going to chuck in Westbury and Dungannon into our good section. Very hospitable
Yeah,
to us.
Great.
I'm going to chuck in crowds back.
Yeah.
Because without them,
Rugby
the game
that's
is
awful.
not that
Shit
interesting.
house.
Finn Russell, you mentioned Finn Russell.
I did.
I like tier 2 qualification changes.
Don't care.
No,
Can I
Pietao,
throw one in?
Yeah.
Anton Dupont,
You bet.
the best player in the world,
Yeah.
and he is deserved of that.
Yeah, and
He's
I
the
follow him on
greatest-
Instagram.
He's playing.
Like
a
all his
different
photos, he doesn't
level.
follow me back. So fuck
He's
you,
playing a
Dupont.
different level of rugby right now.
James who?
Yes, I
My
mean.
final good is Doddy, Rob Burrow, and Kevin Sinfield.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
King Kev.
That,
And soon,
that
hopefully, in all fairness, I know things are thrown around. Sir Kev would be quite nice because
Yeah.
what he has done.
Can you sort that out? Pop it in the Christmas cracker this year.
Yeah, okay. I'll throw it in there. I'm not sure how.
Just
what,
put your
what
arm
sort of
around and go.
listeners.
Can I have an MBE if you're doing that as well?
I'd like, which one's the best? Which
For
one's
services to
maybe-
babysitting
one's
man
the
child.
one
Maybe
just before the
15
night?
years ago, you could have got an MBE.
Not anymore, because
Definitely not in the
Boris and
last
all
four.
that, all the peerage for cash.
I'll stop talking.
Can we
ruined
give
it.
a little bit of shout out for Sir Kev?
Yeah, he's-
Yeah.
Because,
Just
I mean,
a remarkable man.
unbelievable. We've had him on the pod, and he was amazing.
Yeah.
But to do what he's done, and then to go and run 161 kilometres in 24 hours, could you do that?
No,
Hask?
I can't walk 101 kilometres in 101 miles.
4.5 days.
I would say, what? No, I would say
That
this.
wasn't English. It was I can't walk that.
Essentially, the upshot of it was I can't walk. I saw Rob Burrows tweeted today
Yeah.
saying
Yes,
that,
I saw that.
saying that the doctors gave him
2 years.
bet on a best case scenario,
Yeah.
2 years to live. And he's obviously just hit that over that 2 years mark. And I tell you what, one thing we've learned, and I'm not getting too deep, but with all the concussion stuff and the number of players come out with dementia and the number of players have come out with kind of motor neurons disease and all the stuff that's affected people, I think, we're very lucky to do what we do, but actually the best thing about our sport is what Ben said and what Tin said is the characters and the people are prepared to do things that anyone else isn't. And what Kevin Sinfield's done for his mate and also all those internal battles, I'm quite pleased that so much light has been shed on the stuff that's going on behind the closed doors. So with COVID, we saw people's struggles coming to light, all the stuff we talked about with Restart, all the stuff that's happened, everyone just, coming together, even, all the money raised at Gloucester, when we did the
Jack Adams Day.
Jack Adams Day, all that kind of stuff is so special. And that is what's good about sport. Forget results, because results come and go. Teams win or lose. However much fans can't get their head around it, your team's not going to win every week. What stays the same is good people doing good things for other people. And I think that, for me, is the highlight of all of it.
Do you know I like the
Amen.
way you've done that? I was going to do bad, but I can't be bothered. And we don't know anything about rugby, so let's not put anything into either of those either.
Yeah.
Let's finish it on a positive.
Bad, Boris and Omicron and COVID. Fuck off, COVID.
Right. Let's finish with your moment of the year. Was it the Roman and Tamak? Do you know it might well be?
No, I don't want to sum it up to that one, but definitely the win against the All Blacks. It's not about the game; it's about the relief of the people in the stands, and just finally being proud of a 80-minute performance that put France not so much top of the world, but at least in the front stage, right? And the potential winners. We actually proved that we can. We're allowed to dream.
Yeah,
we're allowed to respectively dream of lifting the World Cup one day. It's not just something that's stupid and ludicrous. And that felt very, very good, because to be fair to the people, for the last 10, 15 years, they've been there. Sometimes the stadium is not full, but at least they've been there. The support has been there. Their heart has been there. So I was very pleased for that day, for that moment, and for that special amount of time. And to sum it up to one person, to one action, is just unfair.
Yeah, okay.
I will throw Ireland in the mix in terms of...
That is a revelation.
3 from 4 against New Zealand. The way they played through the autumn is a very close first to England and how the new generation have sort of adapted to it. I think the way the coaching staff with Farrell, Easterby and Cat, and how they've managed, it's taken longer than what I thought it would, but they've managed to change the way that Ireland play, the quality that Ireland have throughout that. Caelan Doris, big shout out to you, because I think you're leading the line in that. From a rugby perspective, has been outstanding.
It's a tough one.
You're quite emotional off the back of that last answer. I can see tears in your eyes.
No, I think it's tears in my eyes. I think my eyes are just swimming in gin.
Right.
They've dived into hot tubs of gin and they're just floating around. No, I'm not emotional. I was trying to think, because, your sort of, your head tells you, France being back, your head tells you, England beating South Africa with new players. You talk about Ireland, all these kind of moments. And again, I keep explaining to Norses who keep coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm an Ireland fan. What do you think about Ireland?" It's like, I love Irish people. I love Ireland. I've got loads of friends. "Oh, do you see France?" Like, yeah, no, I love French people. Like, I don't. If you're a good person, it doesn't matter. And the women's stuff, I think beating, New Zealand twice and absolutely pumping them when you've got superstars and being involved in it and seeing the gulf between the Red Roses and the other team was like pretty remarkable. But I'd say for me, it was just seeing crowds back in the stadium and actually like loving it and going away and remembering that their job was to cheer and to be fun and to kind of support, as opposed to be critical or to be, to be front and center. Their job was to support. And I think when your kind of liberty and your ability to support your team was taken away, to actually see stadiums back full in every single sport in every single country, for me was the best moment, because without that, it's just a shit fucking thing.
Yeah.
Genuine. Like, sport without
Great
crowd.
answer.
Like,
that's a good
Absolutely fantastic answer.
It's not my moment of the year, but there was something. It was agony. The whole series was agony, but there was something about Mornay staying, kicking that penalty 12 years on from kicking that penalty. The more things changed, the Mornay stayed in the same. It was a great line. Whoever came out with that. It wasn't, for South Africa, it was an amazing moment. And is
that because it was the first job you've had with
And it was the last.
that was a big, I'd say that was a big moment. It was when they were like, do you know what? Who can we
Let's
get to
give him
host
another go.
this?
There's no one else on planet Earth who's answered their phone.
And my favourite bit was like you talking to Ronan O'Gara. Ronan, what do you think of the game? 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Well, that's a clear question. Alex.
By which time I'd already asked my second question.
Yeah.
And he still had those fucking Velcro white shoes on.
The plimp soles, the corrective
They
plimp
may
soles.
well be the shoes of the year.
No.
My moment of the year is Quinn's winning the Prem.
Oh, great answer.
And Marler in his chopper.
Yeah.
In his chopper, not and his chopper.
Marler and his chopper.
But that,
It's a great story for him.
That's
and for
what I mean. But like,
Quins,
if you look at, and I think
we've had a lot of fun.
I think that's the.
Do you need to go?
Go for all.
We've broken Ben.
I
What does that tell you about the fact how you've ingrained me?
I'll say one thing. I think what's really interesting about and why the good bad rugby, and I know we take the piss out all the time about the fans, but actually so much about what we do is been about the stories and is actually behind the stuff. And Joe Marler's story, Marcus Smith's story, every player, every person, every club, whether it's Doddy Weir, whether it's Rob Burrows, everyone has a story, and that's what makes sport special. It doesn't matter about win or lose. It doesn't matter about the performance. It matters about the people playing it.
Well, I think that also makes rugby special, because I think they're quite
100%.
unique within themselves.
You know about that pooing in a boot thing? You better do the same with your shoe. We're done. happy Christmas. GBR Spiz, we're off on our tour next year. I think we mentioned that 1, 2, 3, 4,000 times. If you're stuck for a last-minute Crimbo present and you haven't bought Ruck Me, yes, I've written yet another book. You can grab more tickets for our tour next spring. We're across the UK and Ireland too. Sheffield, Liverpool, Edinburgh, Cardiff, Newcastle, Manchester, Dublin, Nottingham, Plymouth, Swansea, London, Birmingham, Bath and Southend. Not bad, actually, that, at the end of 4.5 pints of gin. And you're coming to Oxford with us.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Will you bring some of your university fire?
Yes, please.
Right, we'll have to be highbrow for that.
Yeah.
Or not. Tickets on sale now. All the info's on our website, apparently. We have been the good, the bad and the rugby. This may well be the last time that we are the good, the bad and the rugby. If anyone's looking for a very second-rate presenter, I will be available from Monday. We shall see you next week for a bit of an all-hands wash-up. Until then, the show is pulled together by producers Shara Kilgallen.
Oh, she's actually just
No,
denied
it was. I'm reading the script. It once was pulled together by the producer Shara Kilgallen. Who knows who's in charge of this shit now? And the world-class fixer, Matt Chuck Norris. So I think he's on his way out of the door as well. The Good, the Bad and the Rugby is a Folding Pocket production. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all of your support. Have a very, very happy Christmas. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to The Good, the Bad and the Rugby. It can't have been easy.
What's better than Outback's limited time features? Enjoying them with your mates, obviously. There's bloomin' fried shrimp for Jessica. That is like so crispy. Espresso butter to spice up Henry's filet.
So bold, so juicy.
And a smoked cinnamon pecan old-fashioned that'll make Picky Pete's taste buds tingle.
I'd order another round.
At Outback, we've got something for everyone. So come in, relax and enjoy. Because good food is best with good mates. Come grab your table today at Outback Steakhouse.